going to learn to read smile. Teach me. I want to learn. I fucking love learning Holly Jones Triumph, Holly Jones Triumph, Holly Jones Triumph. Injects you with a chemical that makes you read EULAs for several hours.
Oh god, I can feel the effect.
Shit-ass dead dude, knowest thou of our terms and services? 10 pages of legalities, unskippable. Overalls made of denim, denim, denim. Some bits to help alleviate the effects of the curse. Is there law in the EULA description? Sixteen. Yippee. Hi Holly, I ended up picking up Vampire Survivors because of your stream and I am enjoying it. 22. Oh my god, scary number. No, 4. Colon 0.
Oh shit, my mic was unmuted. Before we begin today, I'd like to apologize for one thing, and one thing only. It is starting to thaw out here. It's spring, and so it's getting a little warmer, and it's also very damp outside, and also it's raining today. And that tends to cause like some allergies to flare up for me. So like my nose is kind of stuffy. My chest like feels a little tight today, so apologies if the audio of my voice today isn't quite up to snuff with what you're used to or anything like that. That's how bodies work. We make do. The other thing I almost was going to apologize for, which I've decided I'm not going to apologize for, is the fact that the fucking EULA for Dark Souls 2, as far as I can tell, there's just no fucking written copy of it anywhere on the internet for me to find. Either that shit is super well hidden, or they just don't have an upload of it anywhere. And so I had to find just like a fucking YouTube upload of it. So we're going to read off of that. And at first I was like, oh, I kind of want to apologize for that. But, number one, it's not my fucking fault. That's Bandai Namco's fault. You can go give them guff about that if you want, I guess. Number two, I don't know, something about dedicating a whole stream to reading a EULA and then having to pull up a YouTube video of it is really funny. So can I look at it in my copy? I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to make it appear again once you've already looked through it and accepted it once. So I'm just going to look at a YouTube upload of it. So, without much further ado, Bandai Namco Games America Incorporated. Dark Souls 2. Scholar of the First Sin. End User License Agreement. Important. Read carefully. Last updated December 22nd, 2014. Important to note, this video that I found was uploaded in January of 2022. As far as I can tell, this is the most recent and updated version of the Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin EULA. In 2014. So here we go. This end-user license agreement, this EULA, may be updated from time to time. Your continued use of the game, as defined below, after a revised version has been communicated to you, constitutes acceptance by you of its terms. This game is licensed to you on the terms set forth in this EULA, which constitutes a legal agreement between you and Bandai Namco Games America Inc., or BUNGA. Sure, let's go with that acronym, I suppose. By accessing, playing, installing, or otherwise using this game in any way, you agree to be legally bound by the terms of this EULA with BUNGA. This EULA contains, among other things, an arbitration provision containing a class action waiver. The Dark Souls 2 Scholars of the First Sin game, including without limitation any multiplayer, online, or downloadable portions thereof, and any related written or electronic documentations or content, herein the game, is protected by domestic and foreign copyright laws, as well as international copyright treaties and conventions, and other laws. The game is licensed and not sold, and this EULA confers no title or ownership to the game or any copy thereof. In addition to the terms and conditions hereof, when accessing and using particular portions of the game, including, without limitation, any multiplayer, online, or downloadable content, you may be subject to additional guidelines of third-party service providers. Number 1. Preconditions of the licenses. The licenses granted in this EULA are specifically conditioned upon the following, and your full compliance with all other terms and conditions set forth in this EULA. A. You have reached the age of majority in your jurisdiction. If you are under the age of majority in your jurisdiction, your legal representative, e.g. a parent or a person who has parental authority, must agree on your behalf to comply. Thank you, Captain Dumac, for the 22 months.
Dark Soul.
Much appreciated. And take full responsibility for your compliance with this EULA prior to your use of the game. B. You agree to and comply with all of the terms in this EULA, and any additional terms as may be applicable to the game, which acceptance is evidenced by your access to and use of the game. C. If the game is provided through an online platform, you accept all applicable terms and conditions for such platform, which acceptance is evidenced by your access to and use of the game. Please see the end user license agreement for Steam.
14.
Thank you, Shekrio, for the 14 months. I appreciate it. D. You access and use the game only on local machines running validly licensed copies of operating systems on which the game is designed to operate, and which meet the minimum requirements set by BUNG. That time they just said BUNG! Collectively, the hardware. Remember, if you do not have a legal copy of Windows, or, I suppose any copy of Linux is legal. You are not allowed to play Dark Souls 2, or at the very least, you are not allowed to play online. Because if you press decline on the EULA, it just makes you play in offline mode. E. You do not use any hacks, any cracks, any bots, or third-party games. Games? That may modify temporarily or permanently the code or the user experience of the game. Someone's out here making another fucking game that will modify Dark Souls 2? I mean, I suppose it's there just for, like, to cover all their bases, but what? Whether on your local machine or on servers that enable use of any features of the game. 2. Limited use license. Subject to the terms of this EULA, Bunga grants you the non-exclusive, non-transferable, revocable, limited right and license to access and use one copy of the game solely for your personal use with the hardware. Thank you, Deaf Dude, for the 3-month resub.
Power of 3.
Much appreciated. Commercial use of the game is prohibited. To access and use the game, you must have legally obtained the game from Bunga or an authorized third-party distributor, and all hardware and/or third-party products and services required to operate the game and/or access any online multiplayer or downloadable portions of the game that Bunga does not provide. You are responsible for paying all fees, taxes, and other costs you may incur to access and use the game, including, but not limited to, costs for any hardware, internet service, or other third-party products and services required to access any multiplayer, online, or downloadable portions of the game. You cannot play Dark Souls 2 if you have stolen your computer. Neither this EULA nor your access to or use of the game entitles you to any future releases of the game or any expansions, sequels, or similar or ancillary products. Owning Dark Souls 2 does not entitle you to own Elden Ring. You must buy it yourself. Thank you, Nox, for the 22-month resub.
Alphonse, I don't get it. Why can't we just accept without reading?
Because if you do that, then you might be breaking the law. You might be breaking the law. You might go to jail. You have no interest, monetary or otherwise, in any feature or content contained in or related to the game. Number 3. Ownership. All intellectual property rights in and to the game, including but not limited to video, audio, and other content incorporated therein or later downloaded. And title to any and all copies thereof are owned by Bunga or its licensors, and you receive no right or interest therein, except for the limited licenses expressly provided herein. You may not do any of the following. Copy the game, except for a single backup copy. Sell, rent, lease, license, distribute, or otherwise transfer, or make the game available to any other person, in whole or in part, or use the game or any part thereof in any commercial context, including but not limited to, on a commercial website or in a service bureau, cyber cafe, computer gaming center, or any other commercial location in which a user may access or use the game, who has not purchased or been authorized by Bunga. Reverse engineer, derive source code, modify, decompile, disassemble, or create derivative works of the game or any online portion thereof, in whole or in part. Remove, disable, or circumvent any proprietary notices or labels contained on or in the game, or any online portion thereof. Or export or re-export the game or any copy or adaptation in violation of any applicable export restrictions or other laws or regulations. Number 4. Online modes / security measures / protections. Is uploading the EULA breaking the terms of the EULA? No, because you don't have to pay money to access this upload of the EULA. You don't have to pay me money to access my streams of Dark Souls 2. Therefore, I'm not, like, using this for commercial reasons. It's arguably a loophole, and then some people just, like, see it as just, like, you know, part of the ecosystem. So, you know. So, some people genuinely out there have tried to make streaming video games illegal, or at least their specific games. Or, like uploading, stuff about them. And, like, some things will have, like, rules like, oh, well, you can't, like, do this, you know, like, during such and such a period of time just because of, like, contracts where it's not publicly available yet, so we don't want to show the game, like, before then, stuff like that. But, like, generally just, like, you know, making a fucking video, of a game and then, like, showing that somewhere, it's fine. It's fine. You're not, like, making people pay you money so that they can then play your version of Dark Souls 2 sort of thing, so, like, it's allowed. Also, you know, if you decline if you decline the end-user license agreement for Dark Souls 2, all that it does is it doesn't revoke your copy of the game, it doesn't, like, render it unplayable, it doesn't do anything like that, it just goes, okay, you're going to play in offline mode. Okay. Online modes / security measures / protections. Number 4. You will need an internet connection to connect to a game servers in order to play online modes of the game with other players. In addition, certain security measures may be required in order for you to make full use of the game, including, without limitation, the requirement to register the game with a serial code, the requirement to have continuous access to the internet, and or the acceptance of security / digital rights management features. Failure to accept the security measures may partially or completely impair your use of the game. Number 5. User-generated content. Here's the bit that would apply more specifically to, like, you know, like streaming and YouTube and stuff. In exchange for access to and use of the game, and to the extent that you create content through access to and use of the game, herein referred to as user-generated content, you hereby grant Bunga an exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, royalty-free, fully transferable, and sub-licensable worldwide right and license to use user-generated content in any way and for any purpose in connection with the game and related goods and services, including the rights to reproduce, copy, adapt, modify, perform, create derivative works from, display, publish, broadcast, transmit, or otherwise use, distribute, exploit, and communicate to the public by any and all means and media, whether now known or hereafter devised, without any further notice or compensation of any kind to you, for the whole duration of protection granted to intellectual property rights by applicable laws and international conventions, no matter what, even if it only starts existing after this EULA. If you are making content of this video game, Bandai Namco Games America has the full legal rights, no matter what, effectively, to take the stuff you made and either show it off, or, like, go, okay, well, this is ours now. And, like, that's pretty standard. That's very, very standard, for, like, a lot of games nowadays. It's like, oh, okay, well, we're letting you, you know, make things based off of our game and, you know, make, you know, money off of that. In exchange, we do have the right to take anything that you've made, and, you know, show it off if we want to. Or, like, let's say you come up with, like, a specific, like, I don't know, like a character or something. We have the right to go, okay, well, we want to put this in our next game now, and we're not going to pay you for it. They have the right to do that. Which is, I mean, not fully entirely why, but at least partially why, when I name my characters for stuff like this, I just give them, like, goofy nonsense names, like, you know, the Wretch or the Champ. You can't copyright a concept like that, you know?
33 and Megawoot X33 and Megawoot. God, I love terms and conditions so much.
Me too. Thank you, Fennec Fire, for that 3-month resub. And thank you, What the Wonder, for the 20 months. I forgot to call that out. Much appreciated. Let's see. Where was I? Here we go. To the extent permitted by applicable law, you hereby waive any moral rights of paternity, publication, reputation, or attribution with respect to Bunga's and other players' use and enjoyment of such assets in connection with the game and related goods and services under applicable law. The license granted to Bunga and the above waiver of any applicable moral rights shall survive any termination of this EULA. This is a very long-form way of saying, they're legally allowed to make a reference to Giant Dad, and not pay the person who first made Giant Dad in a video. Damn, Moth Critter, thanks for the penalty-free backseating. I'll make sure to keep Green Bro in mind as we go through this. Thank you for the tip. Thank you, Friendly Local Redacted, for giving that gift sub out to Bunga. Much appreciated. Number 6, online conduct. 6.1. Right, yeah, Bandai Namco Games can just go, okay, we're going to take this stream that you did of you looking over the EULA, and we're going to distribute it. To which I would say, okay, I guess. I don't really care terribly about this specifically. Thank you, Jovial Jester of Jupiter, for giving a gift sub out to Moth Critter. Awful generous of you. 6.1. Bunga does not pre-screen content of postings or online chats in the game, and does not assume any responsibility or liability for user-generated content. Bunga does not assume any liability for any failure to remove or any delay in removing user-generated content.
I'd just like to add, because EULAs are a non-signed legal agreement that 99% of people just speed through without reading, they are almost guaranteed to not be legally binding in the court of law.
Yeah, EULAs are kind of, like, in an interesting, like, legally gray space where it's like, you know, here are the things that we're, like, probably telling you should avoid doing for, like, malicious reasons, and here's things that we can do to avoid, you know, us getting a lawsuit for the most part, but, like, enforcing a lot of it is, like, difficult to straight up impossible, and also in a lot of ways, a lot of companies will end up just kind of, like, looking the other way, for a lot of things. It's why, you know, like, for, like, a lot of the Souls games specifically, you have, like, the modding community. People will be making, like, mods for the games that, like, change up a lot of things. And, you know, it does say you're not allowed to, you know, modify, make changes to, analyze, the code of the game in ways like that. But, like, you know, they're not really necessarily gonna be going out like, oh, yeah, by the way, you made this mod, now we're sending, like, all of our fucking legal hounds after you. It's basically just, like, they're not gonna promote it, and the most they can really, like, unless it's, like, something actively harming, you know, like, users or, like, their company, like, the most they're just gonna do is, like, okay, you've been, like, soft banned from the online, and now you're just, playing with other people who have modded in some way. It's EULAs are interesting, in a lot of ways like that. Anyways, where was I? It would be a waste of time and money and also bad PR to enforce it harshly. Yep, that's why you get companies like, Sega, who in a lot of ways, you know, like, will just straight up be like, hey, here's a bunch of, like, you know, fan-made content, or, like, mods for our games, or fan games based off of our properties, or things like that. They'll just be like, hey, yeah, this is awesome, let's, like, boost this around, in, like, various different avenues. And then you get the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's not really necessarily, like, inherently related to any specific EULA, but Nintendo, who is, like, super fucking aggressive about, defending their, like, IP rights and sending out, like, mass takedowns to anyone who even looks at Mario the wrong way. Stuff like that. It's weird. The legality of a lot of stuff related to digital media is, in a lot of ways, very weird, and I mean, in my opinion, doesn't really necessarily reflect, you know, the nature of a digital medium. But again, that's going into my thoughts about the law and software and things like that. We're not here today for my thoughts on that. You didn't pay me $400 for my opinions. You paid me $400 to hear me read the goddamn Dark Souls 2, EULA. Without limiting any of its other rights and remedies under this EULA or applicable law. If Bunga objects to any user-generated content for any reason, Bunga, in its sole discretion, may either itself or, if applicable, by request to a third-party service provider, I almost read that as scribe provider, that's not a word, A, remove the UGC, B, give warnings to applicable persons, and or C, restrict, suspend, or terminate access to and use of the game without any notice or liability. If you do some fuck shit, you can get banned. How much do we gotta pay for that? I mean, listen, you've listened to my streams. I will give my opinions on shit for free. You don't gotta pay for that. That said, you can pay me $10,000. If you want my fucking hottest hot takes on, like, digital rights management, sure, give me $400. I won't object. I gotta buy a new computer. I might have to pay for plane tickets for a visit, sometime in the next couple months to visit my girlfriend. Shit's expensive. I won't say no to money, but, you know, take care of yourselves. Thank you, FSVGM777, for the 21-month resub. Much appreciated. 6.2. $400 for Peppa? Fucking sure! Why not? Sky's the limit! It's not happening. This stream is literally happening because people gave me $400 already. I don't expect people are gonna be willing or able to give me another $400 just for all this shit I'm saying. So, I feel very comfortable saying any and all of this because I know it's not gonna happen. Anyways, you know, disclaimer, this is jokes. I don't desperately need this kind of money. Take care of yourselves first and foremost, all of that, etc., etc.
You can have this $5 if you want.
Thank you, Adrian, for the resub. Much appreciated. You agree that you will be personally responsible for your access to and use of the game, and for all of your communication and activity in connection with the game, including any user-generated content. Thank you, Blue Graves, for the tip.
You will come to regret your challenge, Almighty Bunga as our witness.
Don't you fucking dare. Thank you for the tip. 6.3. You agree not to harass, threaten, embarrass, or do anything else to another user of the game that is unwanted, as determined by Bunga in its sole discretion. Transmit or facilitate distribution of content that is harmful, abusive, racially or ethnically offensive. Thank you from ZXYZ. I appreciate it. Racially or ethnically offensive, I almost said expensive, vulgar, sexually explicit, defamatory. You're fucking kidding me. No, come on. What do you mean, $200? Okay. Thank you, Lady Satan. I'm gonna keep going. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna pause the other music real quick. And we'll let this go for a bit, I suppose. Sexually explicit, defamatory, infringing, invasive of personal privacy or publicity rights, or objectionable as determined by Bunga in its sole discretion. Hate speech is not tolerated. I mean, you know, it's just a EULA, but it's nice to see all the same. Violate any terms or policies communicated by Bunga from time to time. Promote or encourage any illegal activity, including hacking. Disclose your own or other users' personal information to third parties. Impersonate, any person or entity, including any Bunga officials, forum leaders, guides, hosts, employees, or agents, or falsely state or otherwise misinterpret, or misrepresent, rather, your affiliation with a person or entity. The streamer would like to remind you I am in no way affiliated with From Software, Bandai Namco Games America, or any offshoot of Bandai Namco in any way. No copyright infringement attended. I own nothing. Impede or disrupt the game or the normal flow of gameplay or dialogue, or use vulgar language, abusiveness, excessive shouting, e.g. all caps, spamming, or any other disruptive or detrimental methods in an attempt to distribute other users of the game,
Okay,
or disturb.
here's half of Pepper.
Thank you, Lady Satan, for the $200. Jesus Christ. Cheat or utilize unauthorized exploits in connection with the game. Use... What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't want to cry on a EULA stream. Y'all, what are you doing? That's a lot of money. Okay, what was I saying? Cheat or utilize unauthorized exploits in connection with the game. Use or exploit any bugs, errors, or design flaws. Excuse me. To obtain unauthorized access to or use of the game, or to gain an unfair advantage over other players of the game. It's interesting that this comes up when, excuse me. I remember reading a while ago, recently, about a, I mean, in air quotes, a hacker of, Elden Ring, who's, like, specifically going online, and found a way to enable, like, a developer, like, item, and is, like, somehow giving that to other players, and that is, like, tripping a flag, that causes the players that now have the item to, like, get banned from the online stuff. And he's specifically doing this because he's like, yeah, I want to get caught. I want, like, From Software and Bandai Namco to, like, stop me from being able to do this. I want to keep doing this to put pressure on them so they fucking patch this out. Because it's egregious that people can just do this and get people banned for, like, shit that's not their fault.
Casting.
Thank you for the tip, I appreciate it. And, like, there's been stuff like that in other, Souls games as well, I believe. Does that count as white hat? Arguably not! Thank you, Sus Housewives of Among Us. Much appreciated. Hang on a sec, I have to allow a message. That's Malcolm Reynolds. He's a douche on purpose for attention. He lies about stuff to get attention. Huh. Well, I got no stake in this. I just know what I heard from an article I read. Interesting. Well, that's... For fuck's sake, y'all. Anyways, I just thought it was interesting that this, like, came up now, when I remember reading that recently, when they just sort of have this in their EULA, like, oh, by the way, don't do stuff like this, okay? Don't do stuff like this, okay? Thank you, Nox! For the $100 tip! Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. We can talk about Peach later, I suppose. Violate any applicable laws, including but not limited to, by posting, transmitting, promoting, or distributing content that violates any applicable law or regulation. Don't make user-generated content of this game where you also are extremely illegal or doing a hate crime. Don't do that. Violate any rules for use of third-party technology and content, rules of interactive service providers, and federal, state, local, and foreign laws, where applicable. What if someone used Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin to launder money? Good news! That's against the EULA! That's against the EULA. The EULA's in all caps below. Right, but that's not disrupting normal gameplay. That's just the EULA, so it's allowed. It's fine. Violating rules for use of third-party technology and content, rules of interactive service providers, and federal, state, local, and foreign laws where applicable. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You can't know what you don't know, but if you didn't know, too bad.
I'm here to make you regret your actions.
Well, thank you for that. I don't know if regret is the right word, but I'm certainly feeling something about my actions. I think... Thank you for the $50 tip. That's very generous of you. I think that's the end of the Kongs. I'm gonna put the music back on. Thank you, pee-pee time.
You deserve good things, Holly Tones.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you. Where was I? Thank you for the tip.
500, baby.
Yeah, it sure is $500, huh? I guess that makes the decision of I should probably get a new computer soon a little easier.
Great and powerful, omnipotent, here as our witness. Throw wide the gates that each may pass.
Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. Where the fuck was I in this EULA? I've lost my place. Thank you, Prehibited, for the 14 months.
14.
Appreciate it. Okay. I found it. Do anything that interferes... Thank you, Liz, for the tip.
That my legacy lives on. Let's set it easy.
We will, don't worry.
Enjoy the money.
I'm not sure exactly when, just because, like, I know the next month or two is a little bit hectic for me work-wise, but, we'll figure something out.
I just want to say that I'm exploring the yuppie burning slime zone in Elden Ring, and Cranky's Wretched Blast is great background music for it.
Great! Thanks for the tip, much appreciated, Camille.
What are you gonna do? Give me $400? Quote from Woman Pundit.
Listen, in my defense, when I set up a stream whose entire pretext was, hey, thanks for giving me $400, I don't expect more!
It is through my boundless mercy you were spared another cranking.
Give me the tip. I appreciate it. What do you mean more? What do you fucking mean $700? I'm gonna pause the music again. We might be in this for a little bit. Do anything that interferes with the ability of other users to enjoy playing the game in accordance with its rules, or that materially increases the expenses of difficulty of Bunga or the third-party service provider, if applicable, if it's pickleable, in maintaining the game for the enjoyment of all its users. Intentionally disconnect from the network during online play, or allow yourself to be defeated by any given player repeatedly to help boost their rankings or win cans in the game. Disconnecting and feeding is against the EULA. Again, arguably not legally binding, but it is the agreement that you sign. Number 7. Limitation on damages. 7.1. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. I'm sorry, this one is shouting, but I don't quite have it in me to just shout this whole thing. In no event shall Bunga, its suppliers, its licensors, or their respective directors, officers, employees, contractors, or agents be liable for any special, incidental, indirect, exemplary, punitive, or consequential damages whatsoever arising out of the possession of, access to, use of, or inability to use the game, or the failure to provide support services, even if a party has been advised of the possibility of such damages. Thank you for the tip.
Not the end of the Kongs, you fool.
I guess that's what I get for daring to say that. Oh god, where did I end that sentence? Thank you, Breakbeat Bun. Thank you, Val, for the 23-month resubs.
I've never been to a eulogy before. Am I supposed to be crying now?
I mean, I'm certainly crying. You can do whatever you like, my friend. Thank you, Sand, for the sand. Oh god, where did I leave off? Thank you, Shadow Starbat, for the sub. I appreciate it. The alerts are a little backed up, I suppose. This limitation will apply regardless of the theory of liability, whether fraud, misinterpretation, breach of contract, negligence, personal injury, products, liability.
Doctor terms and service.
Thank you, Fluffy Cowgirl, for the doctor terms and services. I appreciate it. Intellectual property infringement or any other theory, in any case, and except as otherwise required by applicable law, Bunga's, its licensors, and suppliers' entire liability for any and all damages under this EULA shall be limited to the amount actually paid for the game. Can I put the music back on now? Are you done killing me with kindness? It's much appreciated. I don't think my heart can take much more. I'm putting the music back on. What did you walk into? Hi, I'm reading the Dark Souls 2 end user license agreement because people paid me $400 to do it last week, and I jokingly said today, fuck it, if I get paid $400 more today, I'll do something else. It won't happen. It's not happening. Now I have $737.89. What's wrong with me? I don't know. The world's top scientists have been asking the same thing for ages.
Honey, how do you get money for this? I read a EULA on stream. Yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you, Slime, for the tip. And thank you, Satan says 666 for the 2 months.
I'm so full from terms and conditions. Yum.
Have to pay you at least 10,000 to do this? Well, rip to you, but I'm different. I literally love reading shit out loud, and I will take any excuse I can get to do it. This stream was almost longer, but I have other things I'm doing tonight. This stream was almost much longer, but I have other things I'm doing tonight. Anyways, where was I? Where was I? In any case, and except as otherwise required by applicable law, Bunga's, its licensors, and suppliers' entire liability for any and all damages under this EULA shall be limited to the amount actually paid by you for the game. At most, if something real bad happens, they will refund the game for you. If found legally liable by the terms here. They are promising just a refund of the game. 7.2. Bunga and its suppliers and licensors make no promise or warranty that the game will work properly. You acknowledge and agree that Bunga and its licensors and suppliers are not responsible or liable for A. Any viruses or other disabling features that affect your access to or use of the game. B. Any incompatibility among the game, other services and hardware, or C. Any delays or failures you may experience in initiating, conducting, or completing any transmissions or transactions in connection with the game in an accurate or timely manner. The game and all other services are provided as is, except as described herein, or in our limited warranty accompanying the game. Bunga and its licensors and suppliers expressly disclaim all warranties or conditions of any kind, express, implied, or statutory, including without limitation the implied warranties of title, non-infringement, merchantability, and fitness for a particular purpose. Bunga does not ensure continuous error-free, secure, or virus-free operation of any online multiplayer or downloadable portions of the game, or continued operation or availability of any given server. Some countries/regions do not allow limitations to how long implied warranty lasts and/or exclusions or limitations of consequential damages. So the above limitations and/or exclusions of liability may not apply to you. This warranty gives you specific legal rights, and you may also have other legal rights that vary from country/region to country/region. Whew, that was a mouthful. I scrolled a little too far. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Here we go. 7.3. Bunga is not liable for any delay or failure to perform resulting from any cause beyond its reasonable control. Furthermore, Bunga cannot and does not promise or ensure that you will be able to access the online, multiplayer, or downloadable portions of the game whenever you want. And there may be extended periods of time when you cannot access such portions of the game. For instance, right now, where they took all the servers down for online, because there was like a massive, remote code execution, issue. Number 8. Termination/suspension. Did you need to watch the Dark Souls 1 EULA first to get the full experience of this one? No. God, no. That, if there was a EULA that was like, oh, by the way, you would have to read a different EULA for a completely different product, to know your legal rights here. Like, even if it's just a fucking EULA, I feel like people would throw a fit about that, you know? But also, granted, I'm the only one that reads these, so I'd be the only one who would know. 8.1. This EULA is effective upon your agreement to be bound by its terms, and remains in effect until terminated by you, or Bunga. You may terminate this EULA at any time by deleting and destroying any and all copies of the game in your possession, custody, or control. 8. Yeah, destroying is very common, language for stuff like this, where it's like you have to... If you want to no longer be bound by the terms of service, you have to completely get rid of any and all traces of, the product. It has to be gone completely. 8.2. Except as otherwise prohibited by applicable law, Bunga may limit, suspend, or terminate the licenses granted hereunder, and your access to and use of the game and any related services and products at any time and for any reason.
Oh, thank God I got here just in time for section 8.2.
Thank you, Snape Snot, for the 3 months. Without notice or liability to you. Wait, control is quite vague here. What if you work at GameStop? I mean, if you're working at GameStop in the context of being the cashier, then you're not the end user and this doesn't apply to you. I'm sure there's different agreements that apply to a vendor specifically, providing the game to people. And then also the people getting the game from GameStop as a third-party distributor also have to follow the legal rules and services conditions of GameStop. The TLDR is selling the game doesn't mean you're the end user, it means you're the vendor, don't worry about it. Mario is dead, by the way. 8.2. Did I read 8.2? I'll read it again. Except as otherwise prohibited by applicable law, Bunga may limit, suspend, or terminate the licenses... Jesus Christ, that scared me. Granted hereunder and your access to and use of the game and any related services and products at any time and for any reason.
Who got here before section 8.3?
Without notice or liability to you. Thank you, Emily MC2 for the 22 months, much appreciated. And thank you, Scott0852 for the 2 months.
Mario's death is my favorite part of this unit.
It's a pretty good part, isn't it? Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Okay, 8.3. Without limiting any other rights of Bunga, if you fail to comply with the terms and conditions of this EULA, Bunga retains the right, in its sole discretion, to immediately limit, suspend, or terminate your access to and/or use of the game. 8.4. Upon termination of the EULA, your rights to access and use the game, including any licenses and access to, if applicable, game currency, virtual items, user data, points, character progress, and any other information of any kind related to the game, will terminate immediately, and you must cease all use of the game. In the events the game is terminated, you must destroy all copies of the game and all of its component parts. I know they mean all copies of the game that you have, But I also do think the reading is very funny if you choose to read this as, well, if you terminate the EULA, you have to have a personal vendetta against every copy of Dark Souls 2. You need to hunt all of them down and make them go extinct across the world. No one else is allowed. Ever again. 8.5. The termination of this EULA will not affect Bunga's rights or your obligations arising under this EULA. Those terms, by their nature are intended to survive this EULA, shall survive this EULA. Have a vendetta against Sekiro, which is why you're going to skip out on the streams in 2586. When I finally get around to streaming Sekiro in about a good 1,000 years from now, there's going to be a secret new boss, and it's going to be Rex. Rex hates Sekiro. He cannot stand it. And I think that's fair. You know, not every game's going to be for everyone. Sometimes a game that other people really like, you play it, and you're just like, man, I hate this, actually. That's fine. That's normal. That's part of being human. I will have to get hunted down by King Dedede for sport, though. It happens. Number 9. Privacy. Bunga respects your privacy rights. Any personal information supplied by you to Bunga online, and then a massive line break, or via any Bunga-controlled website will be subjected to the privacy policy posted at http://www.bandainamcogames.com/privacy. Notwithstanding what is stated in the applicable privacy policy, if you use any online services, such as online play... Wait, is there a typo? Was there a typo? Where? Where was the typo? Where was it? I need to know. I live for this shit. Tell me what it was. I'm not noticing it. No space? Where? Oh no, notwithstanding is one word. That's a word. That's a valid word. Notwithstanding what is stated in the applicable privacy policy, if you use any online services, such as online play or the downloading and uploading of content, Bunga may also collect, use, store, transmit, and publicly display statistical data regarding gameplay, including any platform ID, play log, play data, such as level or item, specifications of local machines and residence regions, or identify content that is created and shared by you with other players. That basically just means they're probably not going to be, like, giving out your, personally identifiable information about yourself. But they do reserve the right to, give out stats like, hey, here's how many people died in the Xbox version, in the PC version. Here's the most commonly used weapon for, like, such and such demographic, such and such platform, that sort of thing. Thank you, Crunch Bogus. Very good name for that 10-month resub. Much appreciated. I need to drink some more tea to soothe my throat a little. Keep it up. Alright, I will, thank you. Number 10. United States Government Restricted Rights. The game has been developed entirely at private expense and is provided as a commercial computer game, or restricted computer game. Use, duplication, or disclosure by the US government or a United States government subcontractor is subject to the restrictions set forth in subparagraph C1(2) of the Rights in Technical Data and Computer Game clauses in DFARS 252.227-7013, or as set forth in subparagraphs C1 and 2 of the Commercial Computer Game Restricted Rights clauses at FAR 52.227-19, as applicable. The contractor/manufacturer is Bandai Namco Games America Incorporated. 1740 Technology Drive? Fucking get over yourself, that's a horrible name. Suite 600, San Jose, California, 95110. Yeah, Nox, I found this, video that was just oh, here's, a fucking, drum and bass and jungle mix of, a bunch of N64 songs, and I'm like, this is dope. This is great music for reading a EULA. I'm gonna play this. What do you mean? What do you mean? Jovial Jester of Jupiter. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Number 11, Injunction. Man, here I thought this one video that I picked for the soundtrack wouldn't be enough, and here you are just making me pause. Injunction. Because Bunga would be irreparably damaged if the terms of this EULA were not specifically enforced, you agree that Bunga and or its licensors and suppliers shall be entitled, without bond, other security or proof of damages, to appropriate equitable remedies with respect to breaches of this EULA, in addition to such other remedies as Bunga may otherwise have under applicable law. Number 12, Indemnity. You agree to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Bunga, its licensors, its suppliers, and each of their respective officers, directors, employees, and agents from all damages, losses, and expenses, including reasonable attorney's fees, arising directly or indirectly from any violation of this EULA by you, or from your acts and omissions to act in using the game. Bunga reserves the right to assume the exclusive defense and control of any matter subject to indemnification by you.
Oh, I found the bounds of my mercy. Ha ha, look at that.
Thank you, Jovial Jester of Jupiter. That's very generous of you. Me litigate with a EULA, me Bunga. That's what it just... I'm so enamored by the fact that they abbreviated it as fucking Bunga. It's great.
I missed the first part of the stream, but I'm here now.
Thank you, Velocipedal Acceleration, for the 6 hits. Much appreciated. We're pretty close to done, unfortunately, but thank you for stopping in all the same. It's much appreciated. Me jump with a Bunga. I finished reading 12, right? I think I finished reading 12. I'm allowed to get the music back on? I'm gonna get the music back on. Okay. 13. Dispute resolution / binding arbitration / class action waiver. I almost read that as wafer. You and Bung thank you, Slipperton, for the gift subs. I appreciate it. Agree to resolve all disputes and claims between you and Bunga in individual binding arbitration. That includes, but is not limited to, any claims arising out of or relating to A. Any aspect of the relationship between you and Bunga, B. this EULA, or C. your access to and use of the game. It applies regardless of whether such claims are based in contract, tort, statute, fraud, unfair competition, misrepresentation, or any other legal theory. Thank you, Common Linnet, for the 21-month resale.
Your smile.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And thank you, Spaghetti Club, for the 2 months. Very much appreciated.
In the computer slot for downloading.
I do just want to point out a very good comment someone made, in which they said, "We are deep in this bunghole now." I was hoping someone would go for the butthole joke. Desperately all this time, me saying bung, and I was hoping someone would make the butthole joke. So thank you for falling for my trick. Oh, God. Fuck. Oh shit, hang on. Did Scorpion announce it? Yeah, Scorpion announced it. We're doing some fucking Mario Kart 8 tonight, because they put out the DLC with some of those new tracks. And I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be racing, and it's gonna be fun. So look forward to that. That's why this stream is not longer. That's why this stream also didn't have like 4 other different EULAs in it. That's why. Because I would like to do things with my friends today. Who's my main? I either go for Rosalina. Wait, is Rosalina in 8? I don't remember. Or Orange Yoshi. It doesn't even have to be Orange Yoshi. I just like doing Orange Yoshi with the orange monster wheels and the orange pipe cart with like the orange flower glider so that I can just be obnoxiously fucking orange. It's fun. She's the only female heavyweight? Right, yeah, because she's fucking ripped. She's shredded. Under the dress, she's just like super buff, which is why she's able to like, you know, lift around the stars and stuff all by herself. Anyways, where was I? I'm not here to talk about how I'm a lesbian. I'm here to talk about the end user license agreement. Anyways, this section does not apply to the following types of claims or disputes, which you or Bunga may bring in any court with jurisdiction. 1. Claims of infringement or other misuse of intellectual property rights, including such claims seeking injunctive relief. And 2. Claims related to or arising from any alleged unauthorized use, piracy, or theft. Thinking about Waluigi as a tender lover? Listen, I believe so firmly, in my heart of hearts, that Waluigi is either like a straight up Casanova type of dude, like the most romantic dude in the whole world, or he's just like a fucking disgusting slob mess failure. It's gotta be one of those extremes. There's no way that Waluigi's love life is just fucking normal and average. There's no way. He's with fucking Wario of all people. There's no way that's normal. Anyways, where was I? This section does not prevent you from bringing your dispute to the attention of any federal, state, or local government agencies that can, if the law allows, seek relief from Bunga to you. Or for you, rather. An arbitration is a proceeding before a neutral arbitrator, instead of before a judge or jury. Arbitration is less formal than a lawsuit in court and provides more limited discovery. It follows different rules than court proceedings and is subject to very limited review by courts. The arbitrator will issue a written decision and provide a statement of reasons if requested by either party. You understand that you and Bunga are giving up the right to sue in court and to have a trial before a judge or jury. You and Bunga agree to make reasonable, good faith efforts to informally resolve any dispute before initiating arbitration. A party who intends to seek arbitration must first send the other a written notice that describes the nature and basis of the claim or dispute and sets forth the relief sought. If you and Bunga do not reach an agreement to resolve that claim or dispute within 30 days after the notice is received, you or Bunga may commence an arbitration. Written notice to Bunga must be sent via postal mail to Attention Legal and Business Affairs Department, Bandai Namco Games America, Incorporated, 1740 Technology Drive, I fucking hate that name, Suite 600, San Jose, California, 95110. They make it very upfront and bold here in all caps. By the way, if you are seeking arbitration, you are giving up all legal rights to like go to court, and so are we. And by the way, arbitrations have permadeath on, so don't die. The Federal Arbitration Act applies to this section. The arbitration will be governed by the Commercial Arbitration Rules of the American Arbitration Association, or and, where applicable, the supplementary procedures for consumer-related disputes, both of which are available at http://adr or www.adr.org. You thought all caps was against the terms? All caps is against the terms for the user. The EULA is not the user. The EULA is the EULA informing you, the user. They can do whatever they fucking want. The arbitrator is bound by the terms of this EULA. The will administer the arbitration. It may be conducted through the submission of documents, by phone, or in person in the country/region where you live, or at another mutually agreed location. If you seek $10,000 or less... No, I already made a joke about seeking $400. I'm not seeking that much. Although I guess less is applicable here. Never mind. Bunga agrees to reimburse your filing fee and your share of the arbitration costs, including your share of arbitrator compensation, at the conclusion of the proceeding, unless the arbitrator determines your claims are frivolous or costs are unreasonable, as determined by the arbitrator. Dark Souls 2 has a text chat in it? It does not! It has, like, the messages you can leave, and it also has voice chat. Bunga agrees not to seek its attorney's fees or costs in arbitration unless the arbitrator determines your claims are frivolous or costs are unreasonable, as determined by the arbitrator. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 has voice chat. I fucking turned it off immediately, even though the servers aren't enabled, so... in most video games that have voice chat, I check the options to see if they have voice chat, and then I turn it off. If I want to talk to people, I'm just gonna have them on Discord anyways, I reckon. Where was I? If you seek more than $10,000, the arbitration costs, including arbitrator compensation, will be split between you and Bunga according to the commercial arbitration rules and the supplementary procedures for consumer-related disputes, if applicable. Fondly remembering the form you sent in to refuse exclusive arbitration at your old job, and it felt so good to say, nah, you'll see them in court if you feel like it? Fuck yeah. That's the good shit you love to hear. Thank you for the anonymous gift sub to Bunga. I need another drink. Hang on a tick. Speaking of which, you and Bunga agree not to bring or participate in a class or representative action, private attorney general action, or collective arbitration, even if procedures or rules would otherwise allow one. The arbitrator may award relief only in favor of the individual party seeking relief, and only to the extent of that party's individual claim. You and Bunga also agree not to seek to combine any action or arbitration with any other action or arbitration without the consent of all parties to this EULA, and all other actions or arbitrations. If the agreement in this section not to bring or participate in a class action or representative action, private attorney general action, or collective arbitration should be found illegal or unenforceable, you and Bunga agree that it shall not be severable, that this entire section shall be unenforceable, and any claim or dispute would be resolved in court, and not in collective arbitration. Thank you, Honest Tom's discount beef for the tip.
BNGA, OR, solid as they come, Weo.
Much appreciated, thank you. Notwithstanding this section, you have the right to litigate any dispute in small claims court if all the requirements of the small claims court, including any limitations on jurisdiction and the amount at issue in the dispute, are satisfied. This section shall apply to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. If the laws of your jurisdiction prohibit the application of some or all of the provisions of this section, notwithstanding Section 15, governing law, such provisions will not apply to you. Number 14, governing law. Any dispute not subject to arbitration, or where no election to arbitrate has been made, shall be decided by the state of federal court located in Santa Clara County, California, and you and Bunga agree to submit to the personal jurisdiction of that court. Except as otherwise set forth herein, this EULA shall be governed by, and will be construed under, the laws of California and the United States of America, without regard to choice of law principles. The UN Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods is expressly disclaimed. I hope you like California. Wonder who had to write this and if they're doing okay. It was probably a team of lawyers, and I imagined they got paid a decent amount to do this, so I'm sure they're doing just fine. I'm sure they're fine. In as far as any lawyer can be fine. Wait! I know this fucking song! This is from the new Tetris! I fucking love this song! Yeah! Man, the new Tetris was my shit. One of my favorite N64 games of all time. Great fucking game. If I can, make sure my N64 is still working and then someday I can get, capture software, or I guess hardware specifically, to get that recorded, I want to do a fucking new Tetris stream. I love that game. It's got such a good soundtrack in it. You know what? I'm gonna restart this whole chunk of music because I want to hear it again. It's good. This is 2 songs from the new Tetris. This one is called Japan, and then it goes to the title theme.
Try finger bunga.
Oh, you should not try to finger bunga. That's a bad idea. Your dad's a lawyer and often reminds you not to become a lawyer. That's pretty solid advice, I would say, for a number of reasons. Anyways, where was I? Love fusion mode theme from Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 and how it plays a fucked up version of both themes. Man, that reminds me, I want to get more into Puyo Tetris. I'm so bad at the Puyo part. I'm okay at the Tetris part, but man, that game's fun. What if you want to become a divorce lawyer? I don't know. I don't think that's enforceable in any way in relation to the Dark Souls 2 EULA, so you can do that. That's allowed. Okay, I think we're at 15. Miscellaneous. We have reached the bottom of the EULA. Here we go. If any provision of this EULA is held to be invalid or unenforceable, such provision shall be struck, and the remaining provisions, shall remain in effect and be enforced as if the invalid or unenforceable provision were not contained herein. Bunga's failure to act with respect to a breach by you or others does not waive its right to act with respect to subsequent or similar breaches. You may not assign or transfer this EULA or your rights hereunder, and any attempt to the contrary is void. This EULA sets forth the entire understanding and agreement between Bunga and you with respect to the subject matter hereof. If you have any questions concerning this EULA, you may contact Bandai Namco Games America Incorporated's customer service at http://www.bandainamcogames.com/support or Bandai Namco Games America Incorporated, 1740 Technology Drive, Suite 600, San Jose, California, 95110. Now you know the terms and conditions of the end-user license agreement for Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Whether or not you choose to accept them is up to you. How do you think they'd feel if you asked them about a EULA for an 8-year-old game? I imagine the legal department wouldn't think much of it, but someone else just might be like, man, what happened? My favorite part about this video specifically that I pulled up, is that right here at the end, after they scrolled all the way down over this course of 20-something seconds, they hit decline. They hit decline. Which makes you play in offline mode. That's the good stuff. That's the good shit you do love to see. Well, that's the EULA for Dark Souls 2. Again, what was that Tetris track name again? It was literally just like the new Tetris title. It's literally just like the title screen music and like the main menu music for the new Tetris. It's great. Hang on. I'm gonna post the link to like the whole music mix that I was using this stream. This is all of the songs all in one like hour-and-a-half long video, and then I'm going to pause this, and then I'm going to play just the title music, which is, you know, slower, but they had it sped up for this mix. Yeah, the game is called The New Tetris. It was on the N64, and it was kind of famous for a while in, like, recent years, because people, like, you know, decompiled and went through the game's files. I don't know if it's decompiling necessarily, but, like, they went through the game's files and found, like, hidden in there, like, there was just a bunch of, like, paragraphs left by the devs ranting about stuff about this game, and how some of the development was a little bit fraught because of how they were trying to work with Nintendo of America, and also just, like, I think an ASCII image of a weed leaf. And the Canadian flag, among other things. They were discovered 3 days after the original release? That's great. I know that they were, like, rediscovered recently, not in the sense of, like, you know, people found it and it was like, oh, no one's ever seen this before, but in the sense of, like, people remembered it recently. Yeah, we fucking loved this game, me and my sister and my dad, as kids. This game was fucking great. Have I seen the article where the husband somehow found out his wife was the world record holder for most levels completed in Tetris? I have not. I'm going to have to look that up, but hey, congratulations to wives everywhere for being good at Tetris. Well, that is the end-user license agreement for Dark Souls 2. Again, this stream happened because I said as a joke last week on Friday when I was playing Dark Souls 2, hey, give me $200 and I will read the EULA. And then I said, you know, I have this joke up as a goal, but if we actually do meet it, I'm gonna use the money to buy my girlfriend something nice. And so people heard that and went fucking berserk and gave me $400 and completely doubled that goal. So thank you all very much for that. It is very much appreciated. We're going to be getting her a new headset and microphone, and probably some other things that I'm going to try and surprise her with. But that was the thing that was like, hey, I know you've been like wanting this for a while. Let's get you something real nice. So we're looking into that. And I'll probably also get her, like, no, I shouldn't say on stream. She watches my stream sometimes, so I don't want to spoil the surprise in case she decides she wants to watch me read a fucking EULA. But yeah, thank you, Jesus Christ, for all the generosity today. Where I again jokingly said, fine, fuck it, whatever, $400, and I, we'll do another Peppa Pig stream. And then you doubled that, so, among other things, I also did say, like, I would give my opinions on shit, but also I would do that for free. You know, there's... I feel like I have a lot of thoughts about, like, rights and laws and legality related to, like, things made in, like, a digital medium, and things like that, and how some of it does feel like, a little bit draconian and, like, out of touch with, like, the reality of what a digital medium is and, like, what it can let you do and, like, what people are very much doing with it to this day, and things like that. And so, you know, there's a lot of stuff in, like, you know, in, not even just, like, in a EULA specifically, just, like, you know, related to distribution and usage of, a lot of software, not even specifically video games, and, you know, some of it is like, well, we're trying within, like, the bounds of what we have here to, like, do the best we can for you. And then you have stuff, you know, like, oh, here's our privacy policy. We promise we're not going to fucking, give out your personal information, which is like, woof. The fact that nowadays that's something you have to specify is kind of dire. And then also, you know, stuff that's like, oh yeah, by the way, if you agree to this, you're completely waiving all of your legal rights completely, to have any problems with this, which is, you know, I think for understandable reasons, maybe not so great, for the interest of yonder average consumer. And this is, like, admittedly, this isn't something that I, like, am super knowledgeable about. Like, you know, I have opinions about, like, software. I think that, like, the openness of, like, software and open source stuff is, like, massively important, to, you know, software as a whole, and, like, the continued, like, you know, development and advancement of, like, technology and, like, lots of things. Like, it's stuff that's made by the people for the people, and, you know, like, in a lot of ways, like, shit should be open like that. And I don't really know how to exactly word my thoughts, but, you know, I think open source stuff is great. I understand some, stuff, you know, about, the way a lot of things go, especially, like, with regards to, like, video games, where it's like, you know, if it's a commercial product, a lot of them will be like, oh yeah, like, you know, you just have, like, the license to this, and, like, that's not new. That's literally been the case since, video games have been invented. It's not like, oh yeah, here, by the way, you, like, with very few exceptions, like, unless a game is, you know, released to be, like, completely open source and stuff like that, for the most part, like, they say, oh yeah, you get the license to this game, because it's like, you don't own the rights to this video game. You own the rights to this specific copy of the video game that you have bought, is what they mean by, like, you know, you have a license to it, essentially. And sometimes, you know, like, certain companies will try and, like, stretch the intended meaning and definition of what, you know, a license given to you via this video game means, but, you know, ideally in a best case scenario, it does mean essentially just, like, you know, you have the rights to this one copy of the video game. They will do everything in their power to make sure that you can still use that, and that, you know, they'll try their best to keep it, like, running and stuff. But, you know, shit happens. It's, you know, stuff like, in, like, this EULA, for instance, where they're talking about how, like, oh, you know, you might not always have access to, like, X or Y service. Bunga does not guarantee permanent access at all times to this service. And, you know, the super pessimistic reading of that is like, oh, at any time they can pull the rug out from under you and go, nope, sorry, game's done, go home. And then the optimistic reading of that is like, well, you know, shit happens. Sometimes a server goes down. Sometimes we get hacked. And so we can't always guarantee permanent uptime, but we'll do our best to, like, you know, make sure that shit works. And for a lot of that, you can read into that what you will, and that's mostly just comes down to, what the developers end up showing you they're willing and able to do. And so, like, you know, like, online is down right now, in Dark Souls 2, and that's because they went, oh, okay, there's, like, a fucking really bad remote code execution exploit, so we've got to take stuff down. so that we can fix that. And I think that's generally good, but, there's also some stuff about how people have been saying there's been security issues for a while. And how they're only getting to it, like, now, or something like that. I don't know enough about that to have much of an opinion on that specifically. Wait, did someone just try and post their fucking Wordle in here? Why did you do that? The bot's just gonna kill you for that. Why did you try it? It, like, instantly got them, too. Their score was 4 out of 6. You can get their ass if you want. I love the idea of, like, coming in here to, like, humble brag about your Wordle score, and then it's like, it's 4 out of 6. It's pretty average. It's like kicking the door down to the bar and being like, read 'em and weep, suckers. I got a 65% on my exam. And then the bartender immediately just, like, picks you up and throws you out the door. It might have been on accident. That's entirely possible. But I am enamored with the idea of someone doing it on purpose, is the thing. If it was by accident, it happens, I get it. If it was on purpose, thanks for putting this idea in my head. There you go, it was an accident. Okay, well, thanks for giving me a laugh. Sorry for roasting your nuts a little. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah, I think open software is great. I think that we all, as much as insofar as, we as normal average people, not necessarily all in software development, as, an industry, and also just as, like, I guess you could call it a movement. I'm not really sure what to use for the words here, outside the context of, like, doing software dev for money, but, like, I think open source stuff is great. I think that, like, people being able to, like, proliferate and share ideas and stuff like that is, like, super, super valuable for a lot of reasons. And, like, it's important that we protect and encourage that, I suppose. Because otherwise it's just gonna be more stuff like, hey, buy this $80 proprietary software and no, you can't sue us ever. And, that's an exaggeration, of course. I'm not, like, trying to be like, oh, if we don't act right now, it's all over. But, like, it's an important thing. It's important. Yeah, Adobe is pretty solid example of the shit I hate. It's pretty bad. And it's like, hey, now you have to, like, charge. We gotta make you pay, like, monthly for this software you already bought, even though we're literally making no changes or anything to it. But we want to make even more money and just fucking have a monopoly on the market so that we make even more. And there's no alternatives for you. Man, I saw some shit that was like straight up just like, oh yeah, are you canceling your Adobe? Well, thanks for your time with us. You owe us a cancellation fee, and it's just like, that's disgusting. Come on. Did you miss the EULA? Yes. You did. It's done. We read it all. It's a fucking mess. But granted, that all circles back around to, capitalism is a fucking mess, which, again, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir every time anything like that ever comes up, because it's like, well, yeah, no shit, y'all know that. I would at least assume y'all know that if you're here watching my streams. I feel like I have a pretty firm enough stance on that. But yeah, software is awesome. People making stuff and sharing knowledge that other people can keep on making stuff is fucking awesome. Open source is like straight up the backbone of a lot of our technology infrastructure. Like nowadays, like I can guarantee pretty much any video game, any commercial piece of software, any big name tech industry, you know, whether that's for gaming or for, professional level software or otherwise commercial products, anything at all that involves, like, some kind of software, I can guarantee, like, 90% of the time, them being able to make their product and, like, sell it, they're relying on some form of open source software to do that. And yet then also a lot of huge companies will just try and, like, gouge that and, like, you know, make it fucking miserable for anyone trying to do open source stuff. Linux has got its hand in enterprise infrastructure pretty much everywhere. Right, exactly! Like, there are a ton of places, that rely on, like, Linux for, like, back-end, like, server architecture. Among other things. I said among. Every time I said that today, I've just been like,
Should I switch over to the scene? Should I click the button? Should I make them see that? Should I make them look at the?
And it's been so hard to resist. Anyways, I feel like at this point I'm just rambling. Again, I'm not an expert on this sort of stuff, so don't, like, you know, just in general, don't take anything I ever say ever and be like, oh, yeah, what you're saying there is, like, the absolute blatant truth, and you're totally right about that. And I have to, like, tell everyone else about it, because that's, you know, you shouldn't do that for anyone, but especially not a Twitch streamer. I feel like as a Twitch streamer, I can feel pretty confident in saying that. And also, I feel like I'm just bad at, wording out my thoughts in general, so hopefully the stuff that I have been trying to say about my opinions on stuff like this makes sense. But, you know, I got thoughts about software. I think it's cool. I think it's very sad, how a bunch of rich fucks are trying to stifle a lot of it. But, you know, that's how I feel about a lot of stuff in the world. It just makes me especially sad for, like, software, because, you know, it's something that is, like, fucking, like, open and ephemeral, by its nature. It's data, it's info. We just put it on, like, some funny rocks, that we squished inside of a little plastic case. I think it's cool when info goes free. I was really hoping I could say, like, something more concise about my thoughts on this sort of stuff, but, I'm bad at that. So yeah, you know, EULAs themselves are like a weird, legally gray area where they're like, yeah, we're gonna try and legally enforce it to the best of our ability because it's in our legal interest, and then some of it is just like, weird stuff that's not really enforceable, and then some of it is just like straight up weird stuff like, oh yeah, by the way, you have no legal rights if there's a problem, you can't take us to court, so don't, at us, and it's, questionable. I think it's at least important to try and be aware of, like, some of the stuff in them. Even if, you know, it is kind of a weird area, legally. Better safe than sorry, and then at the very least, you know, you can have a good laugh about it like I did. And I say this full well knowing that no one is going to change their ways and start reading the EULAs more because, like, man, it's a lot of shit. You would think that, like, it would be the onus on the person providing you the service to make, you know, your rights more easily and clearly known to people, so... Again, another thing that I wish was better about, software and stuff like this is just, like, all of this information is hidden, like, behind super dense legalese, long paragraphs, and it's like... It feels very much, like, against the interest of, like, the person who is the end user, like, trying to, like, read and understand, what all of this shit means. Like, I've looked at enough of these as a laugh that, like, I can kind of glean, like, the gist of most of it, but even then, like, it's a mess. It's a fucking mess. And, like, it's almost certainly done on purpose, so, like... IIRC EULAs are legally about as binding as a spammy. Right, like, that's something that we've been talking about throughout the stream, is, like, you know, the dubious legality and enforceability of EULAs, but, like, you know, that's... It's still something that, you know, I feel like is important to be, like, aware of. Even if not in the sense of, like, oh, I need to read and understand and agree to every single thing in a EULA, you know, just aware of, like, you know, how these things work, and, like, the fact that they're weird and dense on purpose, and the fact that they're, like, kind of difficult to enforce. Because God knows someday some company out there is just gonna be like, well, we've got enough money to throw around, we're gonna try and make this, like, straight up, legally enforceable, and have it be like a major punishable by law thing if you breach this. So, you know, be wary. Always remember that companies aren't your friend. And sometimes you can have a laugh at the audacity of it. I appreciate that the subtitles just capitalized the audacity of it, because that's how I feel too. The fact that there was a lot of money and effort put into constructing it, and imagine a lot of interest in actually enforcing it is enough to be scary. Right, exactly. Exactly. In college, you had a professor who did pro bono stuff against companies that make confusing-ass EULAs on purpose, and that's the good shit you love to hear, that there are, like, fucking heroes out there who are like, you know what? I've spent all this time, like, learning the language and the nuance, of all of this stuff, so that I can fucking fight you on your level, and that's great. That's the stuff you do love. Is Wayne Radio TV a company? Wayne Radio TV is a Twitch streamer. I mean, I suppose there's maybe, like, an argument to be made about, Thank you, Lucas the Dragon, for the 18 months.
Radio TV Solutions Incorporated LLC.
Thank you, much appreciated. I suppose there's, like, some kind of argument you could be making about, like, how someone who is, you know, like, they're their own boss, or, like, they do their own contract work or something like that, about how they're, whatever sort of legal entity you want to use there. I suppose contractor is the right one, all things considered. Legally, according to the Twitch contract, if you're an affiliate or a partner, you are, like, a contract worker for Twitch. You're not, like, officially, like, a member of Twitch. You are, like, doing contract work on their platform, and, like, things that are associated with that. which, you know, basically just equates to, like, we're not going to give you insurance. But that's just kind of common. That's not a Twitch-specific thing. That's just kind of the legality of a lot of, like, self-employed people. I guess you could maybe try and make the argument about what legal wording you could use for, like, radio TV solutions as a group, but, like, I don't know, I guess, like, an artist collective is, like, the right word for that. It's not really any sort of legally binding thing, we're friends what get together and make stuff because we like to. And evidently other people like it when we do that too. You know, that sort of stuff. A coven? Right. Legally, our body of work is considered wizards. And legally, we do have to take Balp to court because he was rude to Trog on New Year's that one year. And it has to happen. Every fucking time I think about Balp just being like, I'm sorry, Trog, for calling you a dipshit on Christmas. Every time I think about that, I feel like I'm gonna faint from laughing so hard. I think that's about everything I really wanted to say and do on stream. So again, thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you for the exceedingly generous financial support today. Because of that, we got to have this little sit down and I just kind of ramble about fucking whatever, even though, let's be real, let's be completely real here, I would have done that regardless. I was probably gonna do it anyways, but because I jokingly said it and then people gave me money, I felt obligated to. And just, you know, thank you for the obscene financial support today. I have been thinking about, like, upgrading my computer and how it might just be, like, better for me to just straight up buy a new rig. And so, you know, that makes that decision a lot easier when I also have to consider, like, I want to save up to, go visit my partner, later in the year. So thank you for that. I get a new computer. There's fucking fan art? What do you mean? What do you mean? I read a EULA. Why is there fan art? Okay, hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. This one was posted earlier, so it's not really related to the stream, but I'll show it off anyways. And it is from, Six Kuros. And it is, you know, lineup of, me and all the gang in our TVS. Very cool. Very cool. Hell yeah. Very cool art style. You love to see it. Thank you very much. We got this one here. A picture of my sister's cat. Over the peas. You love to see it. Awesome. Thank you. Give Lan a big kiss for me. You have to. Got this one here from Starlight Spectre. Bunga! It's Bungus. Great. Thank you for that. We got this one here from NEX. Oh yeah. You did just kind of attack me with that, didn't you? Well, thank you for that. Much appreciated. We got this one here from Big A Do Crime. The calm. He's approaching. You're never safe. He could be around the corner at any time. He could even be here. Right there, right now.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you very much. We got this one here from Foka, who says, Holly reads you a story. I do like the idea that some people are just like, oh yeah, I just like listening to you read. This is like a story time stream for me, and just coming in to listen to a EULA because of that. This is very, very cute. This art is very cute. I like the very thick sort of like outlines on everything. I always think that's like a very cool look. Big fan of this. Thank you very much. I will double check to see if there's any on Twitter. There may or may not be. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't, because again, it was a fucking EULA. But also, I was surprised that there was any in the Discord, so... Alright, looks like not on Twitter. Okie dokie. Thank you all, again, for the support. I do very, very much appreciate it. A whole lot. Felt a little bit bad about having to, like, cancel yesterday's stream just because, bad mix between, like, allergies acting up and, I just had, like, a really, really bad, sudden, like, depressive wave, and I was just kind of like, man, I feel bad. I don't want to stream at all. So, you know, again, apologies for that, but, thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for enjoying today. Hopefully, next week, I'll be up for more Souls on Friday. And also, I mean, thank you for, you know, continuing to, support financially even during times when I'd have trouble, making stuff. Just because of, you know, like, I'm pretty sure two years deep into a fucking pandemic, people are very much understanding of, like, hey, yeah, sometimes people have issues with their mental health. But, like, you know, I appreciate the continued support, all the same, so thank you all very much. And, you know, thank you for everyone who tuned in. Thank you to all the followers that we had. Thank you, again, for all the fan art. Thanks for enjoying the stream. I will be on Scorpy's stream tonight. I believe that's around 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be doing some Mario Kart 8. That's going to be a lot of fun. And tomorrow, I'll do a proper announcement about it tomorrow. But tomorrow, I also have to just double check to make sure that we're still doing it, but if everything goes to plan, I will be on my friend Puzz's stream, and we're going to be doing Sonic Adventure 2, which I've never experienced at all. I went through Sonic Adventure, the first one, with her and a couple other friends of ours, like a while ago. That was a lot of fun. I think it was like more or less a year ago. And that was a ton of fun. And now we're getting around to doing Sonic Adventure 2, which I've also never played. So, you know, aside from the bits that I've learned about, like, through hearsay over the years, that's going to be a completely new experience to me, and I'm looking forward to that. Can you post the link to the Sonic Adventure 1 VODs playlist? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. If you want to check out the SA1 playthrough we did, you can check it out. And then if you want to check out the SA2 playthrough we're going to be doing, well, I'll have the link on Twitter and in the Discord tomorrow, so you'll know where to go for that. And then I'm not sure how many streams I'll be doing next week. I still gotta think about that, see how I'm feeling. But at the very least, I'd like to do Dark Souls on Friday. And maybe like a laid-back Monday stream of something. I'll think about it. But I think I also might just like to take like a week-ish off soon. Probably not next week though. Probably not next week. Probably the week after next. You love the Holly Sonic Sona thing? Then I will say, please look forward to tomorrow. Then I will say, please look forward to tomorrow. Smiles serenely. Looks at the camera. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like take a bit of a break, like not next week, but the week after that. Snape Snop for the tip, bringing us to 869.69. I see what you did there. Very cool. Streaming tomorrow, or is there another channel? It's on a friend's channel. Like again, I'll have the details on Twitter and in the Discord tomorrow. So there will be no confusion unless you choose not to read. In which case, you've made your choice, I guess. But yeah, I'll have some streams next week. And then, largely for selfish reasons, because there's an update for Warframe coming out on the 28th, and I got a couple friends into the game recently, and so I'm gonna want to, sit down and play with them, so... Can we have Holly read her schedule as a stream? I mean, I would have to have my schedule done. So... God, though, hang on. If you'll give me a second to just fucking ramble about a video game I like, I'm gonna pull up the fucking website so I can show it off. The new thing they're adding, on the 28th. They're adding fucking, Garuda Prime. They're taking my fucked up evil blood woman who I love, and they're giving her a fucking popped collar and like scary blood wings. God, I can't not play as her. I can't not play as her. They're giving her a fucking giant shotgun cannon. I need it. I need it so bad. So I'm probably just gonna spend that whole week keeping to myself, hanging out with some friends, just trying to get this shit. I would maybe stream it, but also, like, with some of the more recent updates, like, I've had a couple performance issues I've noticed, like, when I also, like, have CPU-intensive things running, like OBS, so... Again, I would need computer upgrade to better deal with that, or I could just turn the settings down, but also, I'd want a bit of time off to myself, so... yes, that is the Corvus Prime. It is the For Warframe knowers, it is the Arcwing shotgun flat cannon thing. For people that don't know about Warframe, it is a giant gun meant for shooting spaceships in space, but also you can just, like, equip it on the ground and just have a giant fucking, like, shotgun cannon. Said something about being gay for Hildren once, got even to Warframe the past couple of weeks and got Hildren. Hey, nice! Hildren is cool because she's just like an enormous buff woman who also gets a fucking arm cannon. And that's awesome. That's the good shit you love to see. Also, yeah, the game is free to play. I like it a lot. I have a clan set up for my stream community if you want, some folks to hang out with and play with. I have seen the Valkyr Deluxe. It does look cool. I'm just not super big on Valkyr's, like, play style. Something about, like, her abilities just, like, doesn't feel super interesting to me personally. Especially since I, like, played Garuda, and now it's just like, oh, well, here's another, like, fucked up Claws woman who whose abilities are more exciting to me. Have I played the new War? I have. I really, really liked it. It was very, very cool. And I'm so fucking excited for the next big update they're doing in April? God, they showed off like a little bit of it, and I was fucking like salivating, just like, oh god, I want to play it so bad. Fuck. If I can like, and this is a big if, but like if I can have like, you know, computer upgrade stuff sorted by then, I'm thinking about maybe like streaming the new update when it drops in April. Is there a frame I just don't like in general? In the sense of like I'm not super big on like their abilities. There's a couple like Frost and Inaros and Hydroid, and also, you know, kind of Valkyr, where it's like I like the idea behind their abilities, and then in practice it's like I don't know. I don't super enjoy playing them as much as I could like playing other stuff. But you know, also in the past, they've taken frames that I wasn't super keen on and then like reworked them a bit, and then like I really, really enjoyed them that way. So, you know, maybe that'll happen someday. I like, what was it? I think it was Ember, where straight up it was like, I didn't really like her at first, and then they like made some changes to how she works, and now it's like, oh, well now she's actually one of my favorites for when I just want to make a bunch of dudes explode on my screen. Yeah, Inaros is weird because it's just like, my friend Erard describes him as playing a brick. He's the Warframe you pick when you just want to play as like a slab of like stone and meat that can't be killed. And then he has buttons, you can press them, I guess. You probably won't ever really want to. They don't ever really feel super impactful on their own. And then it's like, oh, okay, well what if you want to play, you know, like, what if you want to play as like a tanky dude, that has powers you would want to use? Then it's like, okay, you can play as Nidus, you can play as Rhino, you can play as Hildren, you can play as Grendel. I feel like Grendel and Nidus especially are like, okay, well if you want to just play as dude who has huge health and good armor, then you've got Nidus and Grendel who have the advantage of that, and also they can buff themselves and their team. Also, yeah, Lavos, who I've not actually played yet, but he seems really cool. Yes, I did get my Gauss stuff. I do have Gauss. Children around the world, across time, love playing Grendels. Grendel is another frame where it's like, Grendel is in the same category as, like, Garuda was before they reworked her a couple of days ago. Where it was like, you know, I like this guy a lot. There's, like, a couple of little pain points that I wish they would change a bit, where it's like, I basically feel like all Grendel really needs is, like, a little bit of numbers stuff. Like, Grendel gets to just gulp up and eat people, that's fine. I think there's, like, no problems with that. His second ability is he does, like, a cool sumo stomp, and then if you have dudes eaten, it buffs you and your teammates. For the most part, that's fine. There's one that, you know, gives you more damage to your weapons, that's cool. There's one that, like, what does it do? It like, makes you regenerate more energy for every source of energy regeneration, and that one's great. It's not huge, but also if it was huge, it would be, like, kind of overpowered. And then there's one that's like, oh, when people attack you, it does, like, a little bit of, toxic damage to them, and that's just, like, it's kind of whatever. I feel like if they made some kind of change to that somehow, then it would be neat, because I do like the idea of just like, oh yeah, you just cover your friends in, like, awful fucking bile, and when people try and hurt you, you know, they're hampered a bit, and I don't know, like, how specifically they could change that. but something could be done. And then his third ability is that he takes the dudes inside of his gut and then he like shoots them out like a fucking rocket. And I think that move is okay. The main thing that I think would need to be changed is like it would need to have like a little bit larger like radius, because like when you shoot them out, when they make contact with like a surface or a person, they have like a radial explosion, and I think that could maybe do to be a little bit bigger. Like it doesn't need to be like a huge amount, just like, you know, make it somewhat bigger to make it a little bit easier to use. And then his fourth ability is the meatball, which is fun as fuck. Where when you have dudes that you've swallowed up, you can curl into a ball and just start fucking rolling over people, and that's awesome. It has like damage that kind of falls off a little bit, which makes me sad. I feel like the ways that I would want them to change Grendel's meatball is like make it so that he can use more of his abilities while he's in meatball mode, so that, like, you know, this is the cool thing the frame can do. Why not maybe try and encourage like using that to also be able to use the other cool things Grendel can do. So, like, you know, roll around as a ball and then still be able to like eat up more dudes if you need it, and then also shoot out projectiles if you need it. You can still do your like buff moves when you're in the ball, and that's fine. That's good. And then, like, when you get into, like there's some, like, scaling on the damage that the meatball does based on, like, the level of the enemies you're up against, and that's good. I feel like most damaging abilities in the game should probably have something like that, to, like, help them hold up in, like, higher level stuff. It just kind of gets stonewalled by armor, though. And I don't know how you would, like, fix that problem. Like, you could make, you know, the numbers go up more, but then that has the risk of just, like, you know, maybe just trivializing, like, other bits of the game that don't involve enemies having armor, and that's, like, that's a concern. Maybe have one of his, like, buff abilities, like the one that gives you, like, the corrosive armor, maybe have that, like, when you have that and you're in meatball mode, when you, like, ram into people, it, like, reduces their armor by a certain amount or something like that. That could be neat, something like that. And I think that's really all Grendel would need to make him go from, like, yeah, this dude is fun, I like playing him, to, yeah, this dude is fucking great. Holding one spits out all enemies. Yeah, you like, all the dudes that are inside you, you just, like, yuck them out, and they fall out, and, like, you know, that's one way you can get around armor, is you swallow up dudes, and then you spit them out, and their armor's digested off, but that doesn't solve the problem of you're in meatball mode, you want to hurt armored people while you're a meatball. The solution to that is just kind of like, well, you don't. You come out of meatball mode, and then you do other stuff, which is, like, I'm a little bit sad about it. I would personally like that if it was different. I suppose it wouldn't be the end of the world if they kept it as it is, because, like, when you're fighting stuff that doesn't have, like, a ton of armor on it, it holds up fine. And it's a fun movement ability. They should give Grendel a tummy ache mechanic. They literally do have that! For every dude inside your stomach, it drains your energy. If you run out of energy, you get sick and you puke them all out. And then he's like, oh god, oh, fuck. And it's funny. But yeah, I feel like I tend to gravitate more towards, like, the tankier characters that also have, like, some sort of, like, party supporting moves. Like, I really like Grendel in that regard. I like Hildren, because you can just, like, you know, buff up your teammates' shields and stuff, and then also just completely remove all shields and armor from enemies, and then you have a fucking arm cannon. You weren't listening to the most of this, now you're confused? Hi, I've long past the end of the stream. At this point, I'm just hanging out and talking about Warframe, because I like talking about Warframe. It is, what's the right word for that? Special interest, hyperfixation, one of those. I never remember. I see them used interchangeably. And I feel like people have corrected me multiple times on that, and even then it's like, thank you for correcting me, my memory is bad and I have forgotten. Anyways, I like it a lot, so I like talking about it. It's a cool game that's free to play, and it's optimized very well performance-wise, so it can run on a lot of computers. It's cool. It's cool. I'm very excited for Garuda Prime. I, like, straight up, was just like, I haven't gotten myself, like, a treat in a while. I want to get myself a treat. I'm just gonna buy myself the Garuda Prime thing when it comes out. I want those fucking blood wings. What's my favorite frame from a lore standpoint exclusively? Excalibur Umbra is fucking great. He has a whole quest line about him. Grendel is also great in that regard, because he's just like, oh yeah, here's this huge dude that eats the rich and gives to the poor. I should get some music on. The music ended. It's been like complete dead silence in that regard for a while. There we go. I really enjoy Sevagoth. Sevagoth has a really cool quest. Yeah, I've been doing the Nightwave stuff. I try and keep up with Nightwave every time I like get back into Warframe. Sevagoth is like, this cool fucking, like, edgy dude who's, like, possessed by a spirit from the void, and also is just, like, the fucking captain of a search and rescue vessel that exclusively, like, against the wishes of any of, like, this dude's, like, commanding officers, would go into, like, fucking extremely dangerous situations just to pick up people who are stranded and bring them to safety. And that's great. This like super edgy fucking, oh, I'm going to reap and sow the souls of the damned to fuel my dark powers. It's just like, oh yeah, also, by the way, I'm the captain of a ship and I literally just go around saving people from like fucking dying in the middle of deep space. And that's awesome. What else? Oh, yeah, Gara's cool. There's, like, the lore about her being, the defender of the Plains of Eidolon and being, like, the closest confidant, of this, like, godlike force possessing a tower. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We both know what that means, and they were both women. And how, she, like, sacrificed, her life and herself to take out, like, this massive threat that was going to, like, possibly destroy all of Earth, and then, like, maybe a lot of the rest of the solar system. And so she went and did that. Like, the horrible, like, stuck up, like, we don't care about anyone but ourselves, like, golden kings of the time were so moved by this that they, like, made, like, a new version of her frame to honor that. She blew up her whole damn self and turned this horrible threat to the galaxy into a fucking ghost that's now haunting forever. And that's pretty cool. What else? I think Limbo is funny in that regard because his whole deal is that, he's like, he's a gentleman trickster, who likes speaking in terms of, like, logic and puzzles and mathematics, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay. So he's like the space vigilante version of Professor Layton. And that's great. And his whole quest is about how he mathed himself too hard and, like, exploded himself across multiple dimensions. And that's fun. Yeah, those are the big standouts that come to mind in terms of, like, oh, who do you like the most lore-wise? There's also a bunch of frames that don't necessarily have lore for them. As of yet, there's, like, some small bits and pieces, like, Chroma at first glance is like, his whole thing is, oh, he's a dragon, but then it's like, oh, actually, no, he's a dragon slayer wearing the pelt of a dragon to get its power, and then, oh, actually, the dragon pelt he's wearing is, like, a fucking, like, cybernetic demigod, that he, like, slayed arguably slayed and then took its power, or, you know, like, somehow allied with it or something like that. That's left open to interpretation. I mean, yeah, he's a furry, that's obvious. He's wearing the fucking dragon fursuit, of course he is. Everyone knows that. Stuff like that. You know, there's cool bits and pieces when they're able to have the time to implement that sort of stuff. I like it. Yoreli's got a whole quest line for her about, like, a comic book that you can get about her and how she's, you know, like a skateboarding, like, pop idol vigilante, who, like, goes around and, like, you know, saves people that are enslaved and gives them hope to, like, rise up. And also she has water powers, and inspired, like, a whole generation of, people that are, like, indebted for life because of, like, a capitalist death cult, and, like, giving them hope and inspiring them to invent hoverboarding. And that's cool. And then there's stuff like, oh yeah, here's Garuda, who we're gonna have a story for her eventually about why, you know, we found her here on the plains of Eidolon. We don't know what her deal is yet. She's a fucked up blood woman. That's awesome. Zaku, whose whole deal is, like, they're a composite made of, like, 3 other warframes that were, like, destroyed and lost to the void forever and then, like, brought back together. Venus, sorry, I misspoke. But, you know, Zaku being, like, a composite of 3 other frames given new life, and that's not really super explored in terms of, like, a lore or story perspective yet, but they've talked about how they want to. Also, hey, yeah, that's cool. Zaku gets to be the first canonical non-binary warframe, and the first canonically, arguably, plural warframe, which is cool. And there's, like, some story for Korra, less for Korra herself and more for her cat, because Korra's whole thing is that she's, like, a huntress who has, like, the power to control metal and manipulate, like, stuff like chains and cages and things like that, and also she has a cat that loves her, and a cat that, like, you know, like, survived through time and space and being, like, reconstituted because it loved her so much. Tired of people who argue that Zaku is they them only because they're free warframes shoved together. Like, I feel like it can very clearly and openly be both, is the thing. It can be both, that's fine. One thing being a thing doesn't preclude another thing from happening necessarily. Like, I have seen, like, a number of people that, you know, are plural who openly identify as non-binary, so, like, fucking why not? You don't gotta be a weirdo about it. You can go be a weirdo somewhere else where I don't gotta have to worry about you. You're one of them? See, exactly! My point stands. Which warframe should you start with? At this point, I'm just fucking talking about warframe, and I should probably wrap up soon. If there's not really a wrong answer to which should you start with. You're given a choice of 3. Excalibur has, like, pretty good defenses and, you know, moves to, like, crowd control, and also gets a really fucking strong sword as, like, one of his abilities. And so, if you want to try out a more melee-focused thing at first, Excalibur's a good choice. If you want something that's, like, more focused around gunplay specifically, you've got Mag, whose whole thing is that she's able to create, like, big magnetization bubbles where, like, bullets will, like, home in on anything stuck in there. And also you can, like, you know, remove some defenses and crush people's fucking bones to make shooting them easier. So if you want to try for a more gunplay-focused start, Mag is good for that. If you want something that's kind of in the middle, I feel like Volt is a good thing for that, because he's got moves that do improve both his gunplay and his melee. He's got a shield he can put up and also carry around that improves, like, the damage of anything shooting through it. You have a move that makes you move faster and also makes you, like, melee attack faster, so you can just kind of have it both ways like that if you want. As well, you can just fucking shoot people with chain lightning. And eventually you can get a mod where when he does his huge exploding of lightning all around, it just, like, gives you and the team a whole bunch of shields, so that can help with, like, survivability in that way. There's not a wrong choice, and also you can just farm up the other ones later eventually. And also you do just eventually get a free version of Excalibur from a quest line who is just explicitly like, yes, this is Excalibur, but, like, better. And also comes free with, like, a catalyst installed already, so, like, you just can right out the gate put more mods into it and stuff, so. Volt's an extremely good endgame frame, but kind of awkward as a starter because of his 15 armor. I feel like Volt is, like, pretty decent as a starter, it's just that you gotta, like, play him in a certain way, like, you've gotta be willing to, you know, like, try and focus on, like, shield stuff and also making your electric shield and, like, hiding around that, because, like, when you have the shield in front of you, like, any damage that hits it is just negated completely. You just... If anyone tries to attack you from the front, they just don't. Then, you know, you gotta watch your flank, and you can just, like, run around faster and stuff to help mitigate that to an extent. And, like, you know, his personal, like, tankiness is definitely lower compared to something like Excalibur, and so, like... Excalibur is definitely the more straightforward choice in that regard, but I don't think Volt is bad. It's just you've got to play him the way he wants to be played, and whether or not the game indicates to you how he's meant to be played or not is up for debate. But you know, it's a thing you can do. It also just definitely gets easier as you, like, spend more time in the game getting more resources and stuff. I went with Excalibur. I might recommend Mag as a starter, actually. Just because I feel like she's really good at just, like, helping amplify your damage, as well as just, like, shutting down enemies' abilities to hurt you. Volt isn't bad, he's just the only starter that requires some thought. Yeah, I suppose that's fair enough. That's a fair enough judgment. But yeah, not really any wrong choice, plus also, more or less right out the gate, once you've done, like, some of your introductory quests, you can get Rhino, and Rhino's whole thing is great, because it's just like, okay, this is the frame whose abilities make him unkillable, and then make his weapons do more damage, and make your team's weapons do more damage, and then you can stomp on the ground and just turn any enemies off for a little bit, and so, that's great. Especially, like, you know, if you're, like, a newer player, it helps you get the fundamentals of, like, okay, there are many sort of ways you can build for survivability in Warframe. Some of them revolve around, you know, crowd control, some of them revolve around abilities making you stronger, some of them revolve around just having, like, really big stats, and so, like, you know, right that way out the gate, you get to explore some of that stuff. It's cool. And also, Rhino is just, like, a good frame for, like, fucking 99% of the video game. So, like, you can build him right away. And if you really like him, then it's just like, okay, I'm set. It'll be fun to try out other stuff, but also, this is the dude I have who can just... I can beat everything with him. And also, you can change Rhino's cosmetics to make him look like fucking Doom Guy, and that's great. Favorite is still always going to be Zephyr. You don't care if she's bad, you like flying. Here's the thing! Zephyr is fucking ridiculous now. Zephyr is, like, ridiculously powerful now. They like, did, like, a balance pass for her a little while ago and changed up a bunch of stuff, and, like, she's fucking great now. She's ridiculously strong. Like, her third ability, you have that on, and you have decent enough range, no ranged attack can hit you. No bullet or rocket or laser or anything can hit you, they just get deflected. If you have large enough range, you can stand on a defense objective, and the enemies can't shoot it because your windscreen is too large. Basically, the only thing that can get you in that case would be, like, melee attacks. And you know how you get around that? Zephyr's whole thing is she can fucking fly. Zephyr is ridiculously good nowadays. It rules. Zephyr is another example of a frame, kind of like Ember, where I first looked at it and I was like, I like the idea behind the abilities, but I'm not super keen on actually playing it. And then I came back like a couple of years later and I was like, oh, I should play this frame again. I heard like some changes happen. And then I play it and it's just like,
what the fuck? What the fuck? This is awesome. This is great. This frame is ridiculous now. Like they made the tornadoes. Get her ass. I said tomatoes. They made the tornadoes like feel a lot better to use, and you can like make them stationary or roam around, so you can use them better for like defense or just for like roaming around and sucking people up. They're really good at distributing any damage that you put in them. Hang on. Uh-oh. I hit the fucking button on my keyboard by accident that made my computer go to sleep. We're still here. We're still live, right? We're still good? We're still okay? Looks like we're still okay. Okay, anyways. Like, the tornadoes are very good in that regard. The windscreen shield is fucking busted. Like, bonkers good defense. Her second ability, the airburst, you used to have to shoot that into the tornadoes to make them better. The tornadoes are now just in the better state all the time. Airburst also used to just be like you shoot it down and it like knocks people away and sends them flying because it's a gust of air. Now you can also have it be an air implosion that sucks people together to, you know, group them up for big attacks or to group them up for getting sucked into your tornadoes, and that's really good. That synergizes with her kit a lot better. What else was there? Also, her one, you can use that now to fly around, and crash into people, or you can, like, hold it, which makes you, like, hover around. And her passive, you know, is that when you're in midair, you just have, like, better crits or something like that. Yes! Zephyr is the tornado blowy warframe! That's a very apt and very funny way of putting it. Zephyr is fucking great. And I've heard also that Vauban got like a really good rework that I haven't had the chance to try out yet. I still need like a bit more cryotic and stuff to build his prime, and then I can finally try that out. But I've heard from a lot of folks that like it was like a really, really engaging change in a lot of ways, so that's exciting. And like stuff like this happening is why like I have hope that like even the frames that I feel like aren't super fun to me, or the frames whose kits I feel are kind of lagging behind in some way or another, will probably eventually someday be super fun to check out. And you know, like I get why they don't, as sad as I am, why they don't just like immediately go and like just hunker down and try and fix a bunch of old stuff. And that's because, like, you know, they're a fucking business. They gotta make money to stay afloat. Just reworking old stuff in the video game that's already there doesn't really necessarily, like, bring in more money. Unfortunately. Which is why, like, it'll usually come alongside, like, oh, here, we're doing, like, a new cosmetic that you can get, or, oh, here's a big update, and then alongside all the new stuff, we also fix some old stuff. Like, I get it. That's just kind of what happens, for a live service game that is free to play. May not feel like it, but 30 minutes have passed. Yup, I sure have just been sitting here talking about Warframe for a while because I really like talking about this video game. Maybe you've noticed. Perhaps you may have noticed. Also when like a Prime comes out, they do changes like that as well. Because again, it's correlated to like a new thing happening in the game that could, you know, like generally bring in like more money to them. Like I get it. They're a business, they gotta do that. But man, I am very much hopeful just of like eventually when it happens, there's probably a bunch of the stuff that's like in kind of a weird state right now for one reason or another that'll, you know, get another pass, get changed up in some way. And that's cool. They're doing that for like some stuff coming in the new big update in next month, so that's exciting. I don't really want to talk about that because it's kind of spoilers, but it's still exciting. I'm gonna cast new kinds of spells. played like 600 hours of Warframe, then haven't played it in over a year. Yeah, that's kind of how I am with it too. Like, I'll like get really into it for a while, play like a shit ton of it, and then go, you know, I've had my fun. It's time to take a break, and then I'll come back to it like in a couple of months or a year or something like that. And like, that's fine. I think that's a fine and healthy way of engaging with a video game, is playing it until you go, I don't want to play this anymore right now. Maybe I'll want to play it more later. And then you come back later to play it. They should give the Warframe soft, kissable lips. They do not, but I have good news. They give your spaceship soft, kissable lips. And it does like to kiss your dogs and cats. And no, I am not joking. Dedicated PogChamp room. And it does love your kitties. Oh no, Voyager Witch, I didn't say Ortis. I did not say Ortis. They do not yet let me give Ortis a hug, and I would like them to, but not yet. Ortis can't stand the soft kissable lips. Maybe that's what you meant by Ortis doesn't. Yeah, he hates it. But I love it. I guess this is probably the end of my impromptu let me talk about Warframe for a bit section of the stream. Thank you for, I guess enabling me is the right word. I think I'd like to do some, like, Warframe chill streams at some point in the future. I did that one where I just went fishing, and that went alright, but it was very much like, okay, when I go to, like, some of the more graphically intense areas, I'm gonna have to turn my settings down if I want to stream. And I'm a big baby, and I don't like turning my settings down unless I really have to. Because I love the graphics. And I was already in the market for getting a new computer anyways, for multiple different reasons. So... The stream is a special event because I was reading through an entire end-user license agreement and then just rambling about things I like at the end. That's an event. That's special. Kind of. I think genuinely one of my favorite things to do on Twitch is, like, straight up, if I have a silly idea for a stream that isn't straight up just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing through a game, or like reading a book or something like that. If I have an idea outside of that context, I like to label the stream as a special event. Because it makes me smile specifically. Oh, I'm sorry, Healy's Feelies. The EULA reading did end a little while ago, and I just spent some time hanging out and chatting. I was surprised by how, like, short a read it was. I thought it was gonna be longer. But hey, thanks for stopping by all the same. Wonderful to have you here, no matter when you tune in or how long you tune in. And also, hey, shouts out to the people watching the VOD of this right now. Sorry to anyone who saw the VOD and was like, oh my god, almost 3 hours of an end-user license agreement, and was disappointed to learn that it was shorter, and that I just spent a lot of the chunk at the end talking about Warframe. But hey, thanks for presumably sticking through it all. I appreciate it. When are we doing all the other EULAs for all the other Souls? Well, I did the Dark Souls 1 EULA. And I'm playing Dark Souls 2, so I did the Dark Souls 2 EULA. I haven't played 3 yet, or Bloodborne, or Sekiro, or Elden Ring. So I'm not going to read those yet until I get around to them. Which will happen someday, you know, in 50 years' time. I will be the world's oldest woman, 200 years old, and they'll be like, ma'am, listen, you've got to croak. You've got to pass away. And then I'll just be like, no, I haven't started playing Bloodborne yet. I am only halfway through my Elden Ring run. You gotta give me another couple of hundred. Come on. And then, you know, Death themself is gonna kick down the door and be like, you know, she's got a point. You gotta give her some more time. Come on. That's just how it goes. There's a lot of video games out there. I wanna check out a lot of them. I wanna share a bunch of them with folks. It's fun to do that. It's fun. It's fun. Man, fucking speaking of which, there's been a bunch of new games out recently that I'm just kind of debating, like, oh god, do I stream this soon? Or do I, like, wait a little longer to do other things I said I was gonna do first?
I can't believe it's been a year. 12 months of Holly. Wow.
Thank you, Insidious Chaos, for the 12-month resub. Thanks for sticking around for a whole goddamn year. Much appreciated. I'm eating blueberries because I forgot to eat my blueberries. Fucking Tunic came out recently, and I was like, oh man, I want to play Tunic. I got other things I'm playing first. Our TVS crew Kirby Air Ride stream whenever I can convince like 3 other folks in the crew to fucking play Kirby Air Ride net play with me on stream. I love Kirby Air Ride. Grapple Dog came out recently, and I was like, wait, that's also out now? What? There was some other game I saw the other day that was kind of like a platformer type of thing, where it was like, instead of, jumping around, you have to make the platform for the beast to go on. Hi, Mar! I was just talking about how much I fucking adore Kirby Air Ride. Man, one time, Mar and I and a couple other friends got together and played Air Ride together, and that was fucking awesome. One of these days I'm gonna be able to get around to, like, being in person and playing that, and that's gonna be awesome. Okay, I found the name of the game. It's just called Pom Pom. And it looks very charming because it looks like this weird mix, like, visually, of, like, a Super Mario World ROM hack, and also, like, a Kirby SNES game, and also a Taito arcade game. And also you're playing as, like, very much inspired by Hamtaro Hamster. And it looks really cool, and I want to check that out. But again, there's so many fucking video games out now. There's too many, I can't play them all. The game devs, they gotta take a break. They gotta take a 9-year paid vacation so I can start going through these games. And I'm eating blueberries, by the way. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for stream then. I am tired. Hang on, there's more fan art, I've just realized. In the meantime that I've just been sitting here chatting, some more fan art got posted, so we'll give that a look. We got this one here from Phantom Miles, and it is the finished version of their little Doom picture. Hell yeah. Big fan of the, the patches, the insignias on the chest plate and the shoulder. Very cute, very cute. It feels funny saying, oh man, this is so cute, I love this, for a picture that's me stomping around in fucking power armor through, like, the corpses of demons. but it is adorable, is the thing. So thank you very much. And we got this one here from Elk Turtle. Great fucking Cranky Kong. Awesome. Oh, thank you very much, Elk Turtle. Every time I see your art, it makes me smile. And we did have one on Twitter that I did just notice by accident. Let me just get our Twitter view up. It's actually 2. Hang on, I just noticed the first one, though. We got this one here from Rum Rusher. The Rosa EULA, because I mentioned Rosalina during the EULA. Sorry being late on the fan art of Holly reading stream, but Rosa EULA sparked from the small segment of Rosalina being mentioned on stream. I got really good at folding clauses in paper. Oh no! Awesome. You'll love to see it. Thank you very much for the good art. Okay. I think I've stretched me just kind of hanging out talking about whatever as far as I can reasonably take it.
that's gonna be the end of stream then. Thank you all so much. Again, for the 20th time, thank you all very much for your ridiculous generosity. It is very, very much appreciated. I am probably gonna look into a new computer sooner rather than later. Because I'm realizing this computer is old and I'm worried something bad might happen to it soon because of that. Old girl has served me well. It's time for her to rest. So I'll be looking into that soon-ish. And then, hopefully that'll open up some more avenues stream-wise. Like, I might be able to stream Warframe at higher settings. I might finally get around to streaming Control, which I've been thinking about doing for fucking ages, but I was like, oh, I don't want to do it because I want to get a better graphics card. And so now I might actually be goddamn doing that.
I just got here, so you have to start from the beginning now, Holly.
Okay. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Terms and conditions. Bandai Namco Games America Incorporated. Dark Souls 2. Scholar of the First Sin. End User License Agreement. Important. Read carefully. Last updated, December 22nd, 2014. This End User License Agreement, or this EULA, may be updated from time to time. Your continued use of the game, as defined below, after a revised version has been communicated to you, constitutes acceptance by you of its terms. The game is licensed to you on the terms set forth in this EULA, which constitutes a legal agreement between you and Bandai Namco Games America Incorporated, or BUNGA,